Ciao a tutti. Hope everybody's doing good. Welcome to another episode of SerieAddicts. Marco Romano with Tito Yang. Here to gonna talk about Serie A match day 12.
Yep.
Disappointing for the teams that we root for, but I'm looking forward to talking through some of the things that I saw. Looking forward to getting your opinion if you're watching. Would love to get your thoughts on what went down during the match day 12 in Serie A. We'll talk through the key matches, some surprising results, unexpected results, and we had some matches taking place since we're recording this on Tuesday. We had
Yep.
some Italian teams play in the Champions League as well, so we'll talk about those matches as well. But anything else, Tito?
I mean, unless you want to talk about the national team that played since our last episode, we took a 1 week break. Because we had already kind of talked. I think we talked about the national team game already, and then we had that round where we didn't have games in the weekend. So we've been off for more than a week, which is not usual for us. We've been pretty consistent doing shows, but we're gonna pick it right back up with match day 12, and then like you said, we're gonna talk about the Italian teams that played today in the UCL. Uh, Lots of interesting things happening around the league as well, but we shall we kick it off with that firecracker of a match between Cagliari and Genoa, which we weren't expecting.
Yeah, definitely wasn't expecting that match to be that much of a battle. Probably it looks like at least on paper like it's the best match that happened during the weekend.
Yeah,
Um, Great
probably was.
win for Genoa right at extra time, scoring the goal to tie it up. Sorry to get the tie. So battle overall, great game overall. It looks like a little bit lopsided when you look at the numbers in Genoa's favor, but pretty great game to start the weekend and to start the match day.
Yeah, I guess it depends on on the numbers that you look at, right? Like because if you look at possession, it was like a pretty even match. But I think the number that kind of stands out to me by looking at the stats is number one, the crosses in favor of Cagliari. So it seems like they were being way more effective at getting to the corners and crossing that ball in because it's twice as many crosses as Genoa got, which it seems like Genoa was playing more like centrally attacking more narrowly, and the other stat that I wanted to highlight kind of reflects that because they they out dribbled, so the dribbles 22-13 for Genoa in this case. So it was like it was, you know, Cagliari playing the wings and crossing the ball in, and Genoa kind of dribbling a lot, which is it's kind of like an interesting clash of styles in that regard. Genoa had more shots on goal and more offsides, but Cagliari had more corners. So kind of an interesting clash of styles there. 3-3, like you said. Genoa was able to get the tie at the end, so I think it was deserved. So it's pretty well fought match. So started off
Yeah,
well.
pretty
No
level
donuts.
playing fields, right? But they went at it. It was very back and forth. The Ostegard goal from the volley was a pretty good goal. Pinamonti's goal was pretty good as well. So pretty back and forth game. Very a battle really. Some good goals. 3-3 result. Definitely would have loved to catch that one live. Seemed to be a good match, but good for both teams, right? Neither team have been doing very well this season, so especially Genoa. So
No,
it's good to see at least both of them get 3 goals on the board and show some fight and some spirit.
and a nice brace by Borrelli, right? And Esposito got the other goal. So the
Oh, it was
Esposito
Esposito.
brothers,
Yeah, not Pinamonti. Yeah, Esposito.
yeah, Esposito, he
The
keeps
older
getting on the
brother.
scoreboard. Yeah, I mean the Esposito
He's a
brothers
good
are kind
player.
of on fire.
He's a good player.
They've been doing a good job lately. And props to Borrelli for the brace. And Cagliari again showing fight, against Genoa, which is never an easy customer to deal with. So props to
Yeah,
them.
but a little bit hopeful for Genoa as well, right? Because they recently changed managers, so um, good at least that they're putting up a fight. So
Yeah.
obviously they're still going to be bottom half of the table teams,
Hmm.
but it seemed to be a good match for both of them during the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I think for a lot of these teams, like you have to be realistic and like understand that in today's Serie A, the way that it's set up right now, with Fiorentina sitting so close to the bottom of the table, there's the relegation fight is gonna be crucial because there's the so-called small teams like Cremonese and Sassuolo, like some of the newly promoted teams, are punching way above their weight, right? So, I mean, it's almost like there's like 8 or 9 teams that could actually go down if they're not careful. If you look at the league right now, so
Yeah, I
pretty
think
exciting.
it's going to be contested at the top, where you're going to have more. I feel more than just two, three teams fighting for it for the top of the table, and I think it's going to be the same in the relegation zone as well, where it's going to
Yeah,
be very, very tight. I don't think it's going to
yeah,
be a battle between two or three teams. I think it's going to come down to the wire, and there are going to be quite a few teams that are going to be fighting to stay in the Serie A for the following season.
yeah. I agree. I mean, unless the January transfer window changes things like dramatically for some of these teams, but I don't foresee. So
Yeah,
Italian
but
teams are not
the
the type
majority
of
of
teams
this
that are
these
gonna go
teams are
spending
not big
during
spenders,
Christmas.
right? So
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So they're not gonna go out and like
yeah,
pull a bunch of cash. The only teams I would expect that might do something, like the Napoli, maybe you, or maybe you will snatch a midfielder. But I don't see them doing too much work, in terms of the transfer market. I think Atalanta might do something. There's some things that are missing a few pieces, and they might move. But I don't know. Let's talk about Bologna. Bologna Udinese was an interesting
Bologna.
game. Bologna's title contender. What are they doing? They're pretty
They're
consistent. They're
back
on a
at
pretty
it.
nice run.
They've been
Yeah.
playing well. They've been playing
Hmm.
well. 2 goals from Povega, then Bernardeschi, the old veteran, getting on the score sheet as well. They've been playing awesome. They're one of those teams. I
Yeah.
expected them to be doing as well as they're doing now. They got off to a kind of a slow start, but I feel they're just playing to the level that we expect from Bologna for the past 3, 4 seasons.
Can I drop some stats for you about Bologna right now? Bologna
Go
has
for it.
allowed only 8 goals. That is the second best, third best defense in the league. Third best
Behind Roma and
defense,
Milan, I would imagine.
no, behind Roma and Como. Como is the
Hmm.
second best defense in the league right now. But Bologna, sitting at fifth place, Bologna has only allowed 8 goals, and also Bologna has scored more goals in favor than Roma, Milan, and Napoli. Only Inter have outscored Bologna this season. So Bologna has the second best offense in the league and the
And
third
the
best
third best
defense
defense.
in the league. That's an impressive job. Okay. That for that team, I mean, I'm honestly very, very impressed with the job that the man that Italiano has been doing there. Right. He's just been, I mean, he started a little bit kind of, I don't know what's gonna happen, but then all of a sudden he's like turned it up.
And they could have scored more, of course, or Sorini missed a pen, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
it could have been
Yeah.
even more goals for Bologna, but Arsorini is another one that's been playing awesome, right? I don't know how it changed if Pulisic scoring or anybody else scoring over the weekend changed anything, but we went into this match day with the two top scorers being Chalanoglu and Orsolini, which is crazy.
Yeah. I remember Bernardeschi also, like in the 94th minute. Like he already two up, but he came in and gets on the score sheet. That's like a cherry on top if you're Bologna. That's like when everything goes right. You know what I mean? great brace by
Yeah, kind of
Poveda.
broken play mistake by the defense. It kind of
Yeah,
fell to Bernardeschi, who tapped it in. But it's good to for him to get on the board as well. Gives him some
yeah,
confidence. It's a
hmm,
great weapon to have coming off the bench. Right,
yeah,
it's a solid veteran, very skillful. That when you
hmm,
need a goal to get a tie or go for the win, that's a good option to bring in from the bench if
yeah.
you're Bologna for sure.
Very technical, very creative player. So, and also he's a lefty, so they're tricky, always tricky. Lefties are tricky.
But good
So,
match for
per-
Bologna. I'm happy for Bologna. They
yeah,
keep playing well. Castro, I don't believe he didn't score on this one, but it's another one that
no,
has been playing well. And you said it, they're scoring a ton of goals and they're not conceding a whole lot either. So it just shows a solid team with solid game plan information that's been working for them.
yeah, definitely. Great game by Poveda on this one. A nice impact by Bernardeschi coming off the bench. Udinese, after has have had like a kind of like a roller coaster of a season so far. You might say, but they're still sitting smack in the middle of the table with 15 points. But their defense needs some work. They've allowed 20 goals already this season. That's not a great number.
Yeah, but I think they'll probably stay around the same. That's where I would have put him like to start the season. So not surprising, but I don't expect, unless to your point, anything happens in the next
Mm.
transfer window. But I expect Udinese to be kind of a mid-table team this season.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. So the
Now you want to
next
talk about the
match,
next one?
sure. So here's the thing. Were terrible in this game. I gotta say, like, I don't know. It almost feels like it was so long ago, and it was just like last weekend. But I like the fact that Kostic started. I like the fact that he moved Cambiaso to the right side to allow Kostic to run down the left wing. Uh, Locatelli and Turam were not a great partnership in the midfield. He was playing McKennie as a sort of like trequartista behind Ildiz and Vlahovic, and McKennie can do that. He had a decent game. He's very creative. Like we always say on the show, he's always cutting diagonally, creating spaces, finding people that cut in, doing the 1-2 passes, completing that triangle. He's a great,
He's
he's a
also the
really,
most versatile player in the
yeah,
U.S. squad.
yeah. He's
He
like
can
the
pretty much
glue.
play almost every position on the pitch.
Exactly. He's like the glue, basically, that makes like the lines talk to each other.
It's like the
I feel like,
opposite of Coke Miners.
yeah, but I mean, Coke Miners did not have a good game against Fiorentina, but it wasn't like the goal was his fault, to be honest, right? Like the goal was just kind of Mandragora conjured that out of thin air, really. Um, right at the start of the second half. I think Juve was just like asleep off the boxes. And then I think Juve dominated and they basically they could have scored a bunch of goals if you look at it. But also Moise Kean hit the crossbar with a really good shot, which almost went in. Um,
Good to see
and
him back in action as well because we
yeah,
need him for these next couple of national team games. So
100%. But you see, Juve had almost 60% possession in this match. So it's like they controlled the game completely, but they weren't able to just make anything happen up front. It was just like very stale from an offensive perspective. You're just passing the ball around. It didn't seem like they could find space. It seemed like every time they were getting close to the opponent's box, they were making the worst possible decision as far as like who am I gonna pass it to or where am I gonna put this cross. It just looked very disjointed. And I think honestly, like it looks like Spalletti's still trying to find what this team's like. identity is in terms of like how
But
he
that's
wants
I
them to
feel that's
play.
why it looks a little bit disjointed though,
Yeah,
because I think it may be some of the things that he's trying to implement that they're still trying to figure out.
yeah, normal.
By the way, that was a both goals were amazing, right? Kostic's goal was awesome. Obviously,
That's a good shot.
Mandragora kind of stepped it up a little bit with his,
Yep,
but two great goals, right? And the match wasn't that entertaining. I'm glad at least both goals were pretty good.
yeah,
But yeah, Kane hitting the crossbar, had a couple of other chances that some good saves from Di Gregorio, header from McKennie as well, who
yeah,
we'll talk about it, but scored in the Champions League match right with a header as well.
yeah. I
I
feel
think
like
they're figuring it out.
yeah, but this game had some anomalies, right? Like Turam had a terrible game. Yildiz was nowhere to be seen. So like those are two players that usually you expect to come up big for the team, and they just weren't there. It was interesting, and we'll talk about it later in the Champions League game, that Turan didn't start in the Champions League. He went.
Mm.
Spalletti preferred Miretti in this game. So again,
But
it might just be the
playing against a dangerous team as well, right? Because when I feel Fiorentina, it's like a wounded animal right now. It's like
yeah,
they were literally they're literally fighting for their lives, right? It was that kind of
100%.
attitude during the match as well, so it wasn't an easy match. I know Fiorentina are bottom of the table,
Hmm.
but they still got quality, and with Moise Kean back, that takes them to another level.
Yeah,
But I think we
but
both
I
knew
think
that this would be a kind of a battle of a match, that it
yeah,
was not going to be a cakewalk.
of course, of course. Like, and you Fiorentina, the last thing you want to do in the situation that they're in is lose to Juventus. They're the biggest rival, So
Yeah.
I think in this match we still
Would you say it's a fair 1-1 draw
yeah,
based on how
yeah, yeah,
Juve played, based on
yeah.
Fiorentina's play?
I think honestly, I think you could have put it away, but they didn't deserve it because the mistakes were not forced. You know what I mean? Like in a
Mm.
lot of plays, it was just like you had the player there. You could have given him the ball, he could have scored, but you shot it yourself and you took a terrible shot, and now they have it. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of like bad mistakes, and then a really good save actually from Fiorentina, from the hair, their goalkeeper, on McKennie's header too. McKennie could have won that game as well, uh, with a header, but it was a great just reaction as well by the keeper. I think Fiorentina, honestly, I
Dude,
think Mandragora had a great
no
game, but for
Segrova?
Juve,
What's going on, bro? Where's Segrova at?
that he did play in the Champions League, but it was weird that they didn't use him in this game. But I think it's because in the international break, he actually played the whole match. So he's probably they're probably not wanna they don't want him to play two whole matches or like too many minutes. He's had like some injuries that have kept him out for a really long time. So like right now, the way that he's playing back into shape is kind of
It's taking like
very
baby steps.
measured. Yeah, it's very measured. They don't want him
No,
to
and
get
you have
injured again.
Conceição, right? Which
Exactly. But
yeah,
dude, when he does come on, you can tell this guy is a monster. Like he
no
just
man. For me, it's just seeing how every other Juventus player on the pitch, the first thing they do when they grab the ball, regardless of where they are on the pitch, they look at where
yeah,
Segrova's at.
he's like
It's like
Kobe.
find him. It's like
He's
they
giving the
call
ball.
it like the Jordan Kobe Bryant play. It's like okay, give
Yeah,
it to him, and everybody else get the fuck out of the way.
get the fuck out. Yeah, but I feel like that's the problem. Like when they give it to him, they can't just stand and look at him. They gotta move around him. But he is definitely somebody that you can tell. Like when he gets the ball, like you'll see the defenders from the other team suddenly step back and fold. Like they always do that. Like they step back and fold because they know that dude's gonna do some tricky stuff with his left foot. He's dangerous. I
I
like
like
his
him, bro.
attitude.
I got him on FC. I'm doing an evolution. Zegrova,
Hmm.
one of my new
Mm.
favorite Serie A players.
I gotta pick that back up. I haven't played that scene a bit. I gotta get my team updated now. But yeah, Zagrova is a very interesting player. But not he didn't get a lot of minutes in this game. Actually, he didn't come on in this game at all. But it's okay. Needed.
I
Honestly,
think
Juve have
fair
a
one draw. You didn't have
yeah,
the best game. It wasn't the best
no,
watch. Two great
no,
goals from outside of the box, but
yeah,
other than that, it was just a battle, right? It was entertaining in that sense that it was a battle,
yeah,
um, but the game itself wasn't the best.
yeah. And also by his own admission, Spalletti admitted that he messed up when he put in Jonathan David and Openda like with freaking 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean? Like if you want these players to have an impact on a game, you gotta get them 15 minutes at least. You know what I mean? Like, don't
We
need
could,
the
I'm gonna
freaking
talk a
sub
little bit
for
about that with the Inter match as well. Because I hate
it's
that.
just
To your
dude.
point, I hate that shit. It's like you put somebody on to try to save you and only give him 5, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean, I
you can't. They
understand if you're
can't even
winning.
warm up and get into the game with that amount of time.
Right. Right. I understand if you do it like if you're winning, like if you're winning a match and you just want to waste time and you
Yeah, if
make
you
some
take
subs at
pulling
the
a
end.
couple of forward or offensive
Yeah.
players and put a couple of defensive players, yeah,
Exactly. For the last couple of minutes in case they get a corner or something. Right. But if you're doing it like if you're down or if you're tied, like why the hell would you put them in with like 3 minutes to go? That's
yeah.
to me that's disrespectful
When
to the
both teams
player,
are
man.
wasting time,
Yeah.
right? Which that probably means they'll have what 3, 4 legit plays to do something.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's disrespectful to the player. And I think that's why Spalletti, to his own admission, he said he was wrong and that was
at
his
least
mistake.
uh, at least he admitted that it was wrong, and hopefully
Yeah.
he grows a pair and starts making some subs earlier in the match, same as Kiwu.
Yeah, he definitely needs to start doing that. Like,
Because
I think
what's
in
the
the
point of
Champions League he
Juventus
did it.
and Inter being the teams with the most depth if you're afraid to make subs and
Yeah,
make changes in the fly? Like
yeah,
you have an advantage over every other Serie A club in having a ton of players in the bench that can help you get a result.
yeah. I mean, if you're three zip up and you don't want to make changes and everything's working, I get it, right? But and then at that point, you only make a change if somebody's tired. But if you're losing or if it's a draw, like what are you doing? Like start change. Obviously, it's not working. Whatever you got going on the field, right? So
Yeah.
that makes sense. But again, like you said, fair result. Let's move on to the next one. Napoli
The
Atalanta was a
defending
banger.
champs.
That was a banger, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for Napoli.
Great game from Neres. Napoli got to like a hot start. They came off the bat swinging.
Hmm.
Um, Nice to see Neres get a couple of goals. He's also one of my favorite players to watch in the Serie A.
Yeah, it's
Very
fun.
explosive. I think he kind of took a dip. I was expecting him to continue progressing. So glad to see him score twice. Also, Noah Lang getting on the board, right? It's been kind of a slow transition since he joined Napoli.
Yeah.
Good to see him get on the scoreboard as well.
Yep.
But yeah, amazing first half, especially the first like 30, 35, 40 minutes for Napoli. Uh, Good to see Scamacca get on the board as well, but I think this was kind of Napoli dominated this match.
They kind of knocked it out in the
Sadly
first
for
half,
Atalanta.
basically. You know, like it was basically they knocked it out in the first half. Scamacca got that
Yeah,
consolation goal, but basically it was all Napoli all the time. Pasalic had a terrible game.
yeah.
Lukman had not a good game. Anor had the worst game. Jim City had a terrible game.
But it
So,
was weird. The
uh,
Catalare, I think, had a good game. He had a couple of chances, a few that came very close. Um, so I was surprised, and I don't know what the hell the coach is doing. That they didn't have Samarsic starting. He brought him on, but I think a little bit too late. I think he came on with like 10,
yeah,
15 minutes left in the match. But I don't know what's going on with Atalanta. They just can't seem to figure it out. They have way too much talent to be getting these results. Even with Napoli, granted they're the defending champions, but they're missing a ton of players. So I
They
was a
had the
little
ball
bit surprised,
55% of the time and they couldn't do anything with it, basically.
which is crazy for a team like Atalanta, right? Which that was their whole thing, right? For the past couple of years, it was just a
Yeah.
very dangerous team with a lot of weapons. Um, that scored a ton of goals. Now they just can't seem to get it together. And it was weird because you had Lukman, De Catalare, and Pasalic who have played together
Yeah.
for quite a while, and they still couldn't figure something out. So,
One thing I want to say about them is if you want to mess up another team's transfer window by not letting one of your players leave, you better make sure that the player that you kept against his will is put in the best possible situation in order for him to succeed and do his best. Otherwise, you're going to be regretting that decision where you could have gotten a significant amount of money for a player and then reinvest it as Atalanta usually do, right? In maybe a couple of more players. But they wanted to stick with Lukman basically against, everybody's wishes, it seems. And in the end, I don't think they're putting him in the best position to succeed after kind of almost forcing him to stay. So I don't know.
and it
I don't
also
think Juric
didn't
is the
help
best
the
choice
fact
still. You know.
Sulemana was playing awesome while Lukman was out. All of a sudden, Lukman comes in and Sulemana's dropped to the bench and starts playing worse than he was. He was playing awesome, scoring some great goals. He didn't
Yeah.
even play in this last match, so I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on, but
Well, they changed
like
coaches.
you
Like
said,
Juric was a bad choice. Paladino
true. But I think the
clearly,
Lukman situation there may be something going on there inside the locker room. It's kind of weird on the pitch as well,
yeah.
because Lukman is still Lukman, right? He's an awesome player. He's very skillful. He's always going to create opportunities, but the way he's communicating and playing with some of the other players on the pitch is it feels weird when I see it for some reason.
I I honestly think that it will take Paladino at least a month to figure what's going on with this team.
He's got to figure it out, man, because they got way too much talent.
Yeah.
Atalanta's another team that they got a lot of weapons.
Yep. But it's crazy because a lot of the coaches that we said in the first episode that were gonna get fired have already been fired.
Yep.
But
I
Baroni
wish
is holding on
it's
to his
just
job.
kind of it's kind of written on the wall, right? We kind of knew that it was gonna go down. Props to
Yeah.
Napoli, I gotta say it, because without Sambo Anguissa, who I feel has been carrying the team on his shoulders, they
Yeah.
still played very well. Good to have Lobotka as an option coming off the
McTominay had
bench.
a hell of a game too. McTominay played really well.
McTominay, yeah, kind of went back to MVP from last season. McTominay, right? He was kind of
Yeah.
he had been MIA for a couple of matches.
Yeah. Well, he was on a high from getting Scotland to qualify for the World Cup during the international break because he scored a nice one there as well to get them, to basically guarantee their qualification. So props to McTominay and Napoli because they had a kind of a rough recent run, right? Like to the point that Conte actually took a week
Even
off
even
to
even
go
Conte
rest.
was on the injury list,
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to see them come
which good
back.
to good to see him
You
back
know,
on the sideline as well
yeah,
because he's an amazing coach regardless.
yep,
So good to see him back on the sideline.
yeah, 100%. All right, so let's move on to Sunday's games. Sunday. We had the most Verona of all Veronas, Hellas Verona.
Hellas, Hellas
They were
Verona.
they were hella hella shitty against Parma, and they lost. Uh, Unfortunately, 2-1 for Parma. Parma visiting a brace by Pellegrino.
and set 17 shots on goal as well
Yeah,
versus 9 for Hellas.
hell ass.
Good Parma, right? Another team that's been wishy-washy. We're very up and down, similar to Udinese, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
good
but
win
there's a
for
limit,
them.
right? They don't have that much money. They're like a team that came up recently, so like
Yeah, that's what I'm
two
saying. For
two
these
seasons
teams,
ago.
right, they'll probably stay more or less around the same positions in the
Yeah,
table because they're really not gonna do any like a one signing that can turn their season around. I don't
yeah,
believe.
no. These guys are all about not getting relegated. That's their mission
I
in
believe
this
an
in this league.
Atalanta could do that because they just have their scouting is so freaking good
Yes.
that they're one of those teams that I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden they bring in like a player that you've never heard of before
Yeah.
in the next transfer market that can help them turn it around. But I don't think that's the case for Hellas
Alas, you know what?
or
Udinese is
Parma.
another team that used to. I don't know. It probably does still have like a really good scouting system. Udinese.
They
So
used to be the Atalanta back in the day, right?
I
Before
remember. Yeah,
because when
they
they
had
had
Di
all the
Natale at some point. Like they picked up some really really good players.
they always had
As
some great players and
Asamoah
it was
came up through
and
them.
just we're always selling them.
Yeah, for a lot of money. Uh, but now Atalanta is had become that club for a little bit, and
Yeah.
let's see who it's gonna be now. But Udinese and Atalanta again, like they're gonna be on the fringes of European football. Atalanta, I think, might go a little bit up if Palladino manages to
If
figure
they
out
can
his
get it
roster,
together.
just
Yeah.
because it's like you're saying, they got too much quality. They got too much quality, keep fading for that long. Like I think eventually think they're gonna balance out. I don't think they're gonna beat Juve or Inter or Napoli or Roma or Milan for their top positions. I think those teams I just said are gonna be the top teams this season. The rest of them are fighting for middle of the table or not getting that.
Props
All right, let's
to Pellegrino on the second goal. That was a nice chip over the keeper.
yeah
Very nice finish for his double.
that's
But
a
yeah,
decent
think we
striker,
can
right?
move on to the next one.
Yeah, Matteo Pellegrino. Matteo Pellegrino. Allora, andiamo alla prossima. Cremonese Roma. Cremonese Roma.
Roma, Roma,
Again, Roma is
Roma.
dominating, bro. Like what's happening?
Yeah,
Roma
that
top of
new
the table.
coach,
Top of the table.
that
No draws.
The Gasperini effect, apparently.
Best defense in the league. I mean, what's
And
going
now they're
on here?
starting to get it together offensively as well, scoring more goals, which is not
Fifth.
good news for everybody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Yeah. Great game
Because
by
if they can
Soule.
keep it up defensively and they can start scoring goals, especially not even seeing Dybala on their score sheet, and they got three.
They are dangerous, man. I how how do you see them dropping off now? Because I'm looking at their bench and they have a bench.
I mean, a couple of injuries, and if they stay competing or continue to push forward in European competition, maybe, but it's tough.
Hmm,
Uh,
hmm.
they're just solid. It's not a fluke. I
Yeah.
think the sample
At
is
this
big
point,
enough where you can say is not a fluke. It's just their new identity under Gasperini that is working.
yeah. Yeah. 100%. I mean, this team looks really well put together. And that's, Dybala's injured, right? Like they're playing without Dybala. Uh, and they're still getting like results. Don't have problems defensively at all. Cristante has been solid. Kone has been solid the entire season. Wesley has been great. Like he was one of like the question marks at the beginning of the season because he's a new
Hmm.
transfer. And He's really adapted well. Uh, and I mean, it's gonna be a tough team to knock down if they keep playing this way for sure.
And I got some good options right coming off the bench because having someone like El Charawi coming
Yeah,
off the bench,
very
very
good center.
skillful, dangerous
Yeah,
player.
even
And I think
Gollini.
once Gasperini has a couple of transfer markets as well to kind of make some moves,
Huh.
they're
Yeah,
gonna get even better.
they're looking really, really solid. Props to Cremonese. Tried fighting at least, they scored in the 93rd, so at least, they got a little consolation. But, we were kind of expecting this result, right?
Yeah, for this weekend for Roma, I was not expecting Roma to drop any points
Hmm.
for this match day. Even though Cremonese, props to them, like the other teams that came up from Serie B, they've been showing fight and have
Yeah,
made it known that they're not gonna be the easy matchup for anybody this season.
that's right.
But at the end of the day, it was too much. Too much. Roma had too much. Their their play under Gasperini, it's just a lot better than it was last season. They feel like they're clicking, and that midfield with Kone Soler has been playing awesome as well. They're a dangerous team for sure.
Yeah.
They're for real
Well,
this season.
yeah. Let's see if they can keep it going. Sometimes we see teams like these, and then they act in January or February, they fall off. Let's see if Roma can keep this going. It looks,
I think they
they're
will,
looking pretty
unless
solid.
they have some injuries on the defensive line, maybe. But I think they have some good options up front and in the midfield where they can at the very least maintain something close to the level where they're playing at right now.
Yeah. All right. So Lazio, Lecce. Lazio finally getting things back to normal there.
Sarri getting a break, just raising one butt cheek off the hot seat uh, for for this match day. And I
Yeah,
promise I didn't fart when I did that just now.
you probably did.
But he's been in the hot seat for a while, right? Lazio, another team that has a lot of talented players. This was just super lopsided match. Right? You look at
Yeah,
the stat line and super lopsided in Lazio's possession in every single freaking category.
yeah,
So they kind of showed their level, or at the level that they can perform
yeah.
during this match. 2
And
nil
they got up to eighth
victory.
place. They got up to the eighth spot in
It's
the
just
table.
so tight that I feel probably I'm confident that Serie A is the most competitive kind of league out of the top five leagues
You mean in
this season.
terms of like the difference between the teams? Like, yeah, there's only seven
Yeah, it's crazy.
points.
Like the difference between like the top teams all the way to like around the eighth or ninth. It's
Yeah,
everything's still up for grabs.
yeah. It's
And
only
Lazio is
nine
one of
points
those
between
teams.
seventh and 15th. It's crazy. Like it's literally you lose, like you win two games in a row and you go up five positions or six. Like you know, it's intense this season. It's gonna be like that the whole year. All right, so
Gendouzi's getting on the score sheet. A hell of a player. I've always thought he's a great player.
he got weird
I knew
arms though. He got
Inter
like
was
really
going
long
after him.
arms. Don't you feel like he got really long arms when Duzi,
He
like
yeah,
he
he's
runs?
kind of weird looking,
He got like
but nice
really
goal.
long arms, and that's why he got like long hair, so he could go with his long arms. I think
He looks a bit more proportionate with
he looks
the long hair.
proportionate. But I always thought like, why has he got such long arms? But he's a good player, solid player in Duzi.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
finish, sliding, volley kind of finish to beat the keeper.
yeah,
Good goal from Gendosi. Good seeing Lazio uh, get the win as well. And the
yeah,
second goal was kind of a hustle goal as well. A defensive mistake, pressure up front,
Right at
by
the end of the
Nosling
match, you know,
in good goal.
when
Yeah, just
Lecce
kind
was
of
like, "Oh, this is over."
Lecce fell asleep. We're cool with the 1-0 defeat, and Nosling said, "Nope, I'm still here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to improve my stat sheet. I'm trying to get
Yeah,
paid more money."
yep. That's what you're supposed to do. So props to Noslin for
Yeah.
for hustling.
And he got his, scored a goal. 2
Yeah,
0
for
defeat by Lazio.
sure.
Good win. Moving up in the table. Unlike Inter,
What
for our
happened with
next
Inter?
match,
What
Derby
happened with
della
them?
Madonnina.
I don't know what happened in that game. What happened? Did an American score a goal?
Yeah, dude, you didn't see it with the like American commentators,
Of
because
course
that's
I
the
did.
only way to see like a Serie
Of
A
course.
match with like the American commentators,
Bro, if it's
right?
not
You know.
Matteo Bonetti, why would I even watch it? Like,
uh, Honestly, it was Inter got off to a great start. They dominated the game. Milan had two opportunities, both of them by Captain America, representing the USV,
damn.
Christian Pulisic, who's back from injury, and Milan desperately needed him up front because Leao, as expected, at least on my end, hasn't been consistent this season like he usually is. But
Yeah.
Inter was dominating this match. We hit the post twice. Couple of good saves by Magic Mike, which is the dumbest freaking nickname for a player. But if they wanna give him that nicknames and
It's a
he's a
good
Milan
nickname for
player,
a
I'm gonna
stripper.
fucking call you Magic Mike.
Maybe he's a stripper,
Uh,
like in his at
yeah,
nighttime.
yeah. If you want to have a stripper name, go
Yeah.
ahead.
How did
I'll call
Inter
you.
not
I'll call
win
you by
this
your
game,
stripper name.
bro? Bro, how did Inter not win this game? They had like 63% possession. I saw and I was watching the first half, and I'm like, this game should be like 3-0 already. Like, what the hell? And Milan
So
scored
here's the
completely
thing.
against the run and play.
This match, the team with the better coach won this match, right? So
Mm,
props to Allegri. One of
mm.
the major issues with Inter is that we started with Carlos Augusto playing on the right, which he has never played, and you could tell because
Are you talking
literally
about
Inter
Zopolato Neves?
Zopolato Neves started on the right for Dumfries because Dumfries was injured, and we had zero offense on the right side. It's like similar to when Darmian plays, where
Mm,
it's like you're fighting a one-armed boxer essentially. It's easy for Milan to defend when they know that all the threat is coming from the left side from Di Marco and Bastoni. So very stagnant play by Inter. Even with that, they created some opportunities, hit the post a couple of times from set pieces because Inter is always going to be dangerous in set pieces.
bro, the
But
stripper
when it
saved the
comes to
penalty.
me, for the key things, right, that make Inter awesome, one is the quick switches from side to side, which we didn't have because we have Carlos Augusto playing on one of the sides. So that's one of the weapons taken away. Chalanoglu missed the pen. In my
No,
opinion,
Magnan saved it, bro.
Magnan
He
saved
saved it.
it. It was kind of it pissed me off because in the game when before he took the pen, they put the last five pens, and when he where
Yeah,
he
they
had
showed
placed
it.
them, and he took four of them to the left, which
Always
is
left.
exactly where he took this one. And Magnan, great saves, Brock to Magnan, has been playing a whole lot better than he did at
Props
least
to the
last
coaches.
season, which
Props to the
I feel he
coaches
didn't
too.
have a good season. Player of the
You know?
match for sure, Magic Mike.
Yeah.
But Chalanoglu, which I said a couple of times in our episodes, it's like if you have a match where Chalanoglu doesn't at least get 2 to 3 shots from outside the box, you failed, right? And
Yeah.
Chalanoglu outside of the pen, he didn't have any shots from outside the box. You have no crosses coming from the right, no one-on-one threats coming from the right because you have Carlos Augusto. So you have
Yeah.
essentially everything coming from the left from Bastoni and Di Marco, and then just Turam and Lautaro in the middle, just waiting, clogging up space,
Yeah.
so Chalanoglu can't get his shots off. So the
Plus, he
the
had to
issue
deal
was
with
that
Rabiot.
Inter controlled so much possession that they were just stagnant on their own half, passing the ball
Yeah.
around, not really doing a whole lot, which is ironic because Milanistas has always bitched and complained for the past couple of years that Inter is the counter-attacking team. All they do is counter-attack. And now it kind of flipped. The scripts were flipped where Inter dominated possession, created a lot more opportunities, but we just couldn't get the ball on the back of the net. That's just what it comes down to.
That's typical
But
Allegri
Milan,
ball.
two. That's what I'm saying. The coach won. Better game plan
Yeah.
from Milan. Also, I gotta say, bad luck for us because shit, Rabiot misses like how many matches before playing against us. He comes back and he had an amazing match. Modric actually
Yeah,
didn't have
bro.
his best match at all. Didn't have a good
But
match at all. But
Rabiot was
Rabiot,
dominant, bro.
the difference that he makes, just like offensively and defensively, box to box, he's a hell of a player. Just makes a huge difference. Big ass dude. I saw Barella a couple of times when Rabiot had control of the ball, trying to take it away from him. And for me, usually that's so easy for Barella to do. And seeing how easily Rabiot was able to protect the ball and just like shoo him away like he was nothing, it was
Yeah,
very
Rabiot's a big
impressive to
dude,
me.
bro. Like he's a big dude and he's technical too. So he's not just big; he's like big and technical, and he's good with both his feet. So it's I mean, he made a huge impact in his game. I think like this is typical Allegri shit. Like he'll let you have the ball 65% of the game, and he'll set up like a old school NBA defense with like the center and like he's playing the zone. You know what I mean? He just got his people standing there and then hit you on the counter with like Leao and Pulisic if he can. That's
Salamakers, right? I think
you
the
know,
goal, I think they're being a little bit too hard on Sommer, in my opinion.
I agree.
Salamakers breaks away, shot on goal by himself. Sommer is full stretch, so he
Full
can't
stretch,
punch the
bro.
ball further out.
Right.
Um, Akanji doesn't get there in time. Pulisic
No,
is
that's a cop
faster,
out.
reacts faster or quicker, gets to the ball.
Yeah.
Typical center forward goal. It disappointing, obviously, for any Interista because we dominated the game. And obviously, it's the derby. It means more than just any other matchup.
Yeah.
But it's on us, and more than anything, it's on Kiwu. I feel again the team with a better coach won. Bad game plan for Kiwu. Bad decision starting Carlos Augusto on the right. Waited way too long to make the only change that he needed to make, which he didn't do at all because Carlos Augusto finished the match. But he surprisingly, and I would say the only positive takeaway for Inter during this match is Diouf came in and for the last 10 minutes, he was the best Inter player on the pitch. He started creating a ton more opportunities from the right, which we didn't have all game. Created a couple of opportunities to end the match, a little bit too late from Kiwu. Didn't like the subs that he made when he made them. Didn't make any sense at all to me. And like I said, similar to Juve, what's the point of having that much depth if you don't know how to use it to your benefit and make changes on the fly so you can get a result?
I don't know, man. I honestly feel like it's a little bit like I get what you're saying, but I feel it's a little bit unfair to Kibu because what he actually put out there was dominating the match. It was just like they weren't able to score in the beginning. And the other thing I was gonna say, like, why do you feel that the Italian press is so biased against Sommer? Because
I
I
don't
saw
know,
a lot
brother.
of articles like about,
It's crazy,
oh,
and
it's
it's
time to
been that way
replace
for a
Sommer.
while.
I'm like, what?
Listen,
Replace him with
I
who?
read
Who you
and
gonna
I've read
get?
I've read in a few places that they're looking at Martinez. Fuck that. That dude is one of the players that I hate the most, one of the most annoying motherfuckers ever. Fuck that, dude. We have already a fucking Martinez on our team as our
uh,
backup that's way better than him.
he's also
So
Argentina. No, oh no, you're talking about the other
Dibu
Martinez.
Martinez can
Yeah.
fuck off. There's a reason why he plays in Aston Villa. He's overrated as shit. Keep him playing for Argentina. He's annoying as fuck. Sorry, it would be like if they say, what's next? We're gonna sign Jerry Mina for our defense as well.
Hey,
And
I
we're gonna
take
have Dibu
Jeremina.
Martinez and Jerry Mina fucking
I take
dancing and talking
Jeremina.
shit.
I take
No, dude, no.
Jeremina Juve. I take him. Juve, bro. I'll give you Kelly if you give me Jeremina. Like happy. Like I'll take Jeremina for sure.
I would be less pissed with Jerry Mina because
Yeah,
he's solid defensively and he's a huge threat on set pieces.
yeah,
But Dibu
yeah.
Martinez, hell no, dude. For me, worst case scenario is Dibu Martinez, Interside Dibu Martinez, and then Italy fails to qualify for the World Cup. I'm taking a break from watching football. We're taking 2 week or 3 week break from doing any more episodes
Yeah, dude,
because
Dibu
I would
Martinez
need to
is
go
annoying.
into like recovery mode.
I agree with you. I don't like that guy either. I mean,
No,
you
but
know,
I don't know, right? Going back to the summer thing, I don't know. I feel they're being way too hard on him. Like, dude, he had a hell of a season last year, right? He was the goalkeeper, the best goalkeeper in the Champions League, right? In that tournament, saved Inter. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't even have made the final. Maybe better for
right,
Inter if we
right.
would have saved that ass whooping.
Oh well, right,
Um, but dude, they're being way too hard on Summer. It was he was fully stretched. There was
bro.
nothing
I
for
agree.
him that he could have done.
I
You could
agree.
easily say the same thing about Akanji. He should have had Pulisic covered.
Yeah, but you know why I
It
asked you the
happens.
question? I asked you the question about the press being biased because I was just looking at the ratings that like Gazetta gave him, and it's like 4.5 they gave Summer. I'm like 4.5. He only got
Dude,
scored on
but
once.
okay, how many times did he interact during the game? Like how many
that's
saves did he have? Like
that's what I'm
Milan,
saying.
I can remember two opportunities Milan created. The one where they scored the goal, and a Pulisic opportunity in the first half where he put it
Right,
wide of the
bro.
post.
Bro, I just pulled out the stat sheet. They only had 3 shots on goal, like Milan, the whole freaking game.
That's
Like,
what
what
I'm
are you
saying.
talking
Like,
about? Like,
okay, yeah, you're gonna give him a
how do you
bad
give him
rating because the
4.5?
only
Like,
time
what
you
the
saw
fuck?
him is when Milan actually scored the goal.
Nah, bro. That's complete bias, man.
But
Like
I
that's
think they
bias.
need to put some respect on Summer's name first of all. And dude, we have probably I don't want to say 100%, but we got one of the best backup goalkeepers in Serie A as well.
Well, bro,
So
like
I don't.
I'm just gonna say this. I think the Italian press, in like the footballing press, is very biased against foreign goalkeepers
And dude,
goalkeepers are an Italian national product. Do you remember? Like usually the
yeah,
best
why the
goalkeepers in
hell
the
are you gonna
world,
look for a goalkeeper elsewhere, dude? With so many
right?
amazing Italian goalkeepers, it's
But
ridiculous.
but but because of that, I think that when an Italian team or like especially a big team buys a foreign goalkeeper, the Italian press like just get pissed at them and they start and they just you know they mistreat these foreign goalkeepers in the press. Because I remember like when Juve got Van der Sar, it was the same type of situation. And then with Chesney versus Buffon, right? Like Buffon could make certain mistakes. Nobody would question Buffon, but like if Chesney made a mistake, even if he made like 7 incredible saves, like he made one mistake and it was like Chesney gotta go. He sucks. You know what I mean? Like and I feel the same thing
Yeah,
is
but it's
happening with
always
Summer.
something. It's oh, he's undersized, and it's like if Summer is undersized, what the hell is Dibu Martinez? Sorry, but what the hell are we talking about here? You're gonna go
Dibu
back
has
in
like a
time and get
long
like
torso.
Jorge
Dibu's like
Campos
weird.
to put him on goal?
Dibu has like the longest torso. Have you ever seen that? Like when he takes his shirt off, he looks like his torso. He looks like he's stretched out like that. He's weird.
No,
I don't like
no.
Dibu.
If Dibu's
He's
on the
a World Cup
screen,
winner,
I'm
you
looking
know.
at somewhere else on the screen.
But bro, he looks like the Argentinian version of Kiko from El Chavo del Ocho. Like he just he's not nice to look at. I mean, but that's not why we watch games. But
No, but hey, props to Milan. Gotta give him, even though I hate it. They
yeah,
got the Derby win. Disturbing fact that they kept repeating throughout the transmission of the game is that Inter has now failed to get a win in the last 9 matches between Juve, Milan, and Napoli.
oh shit.
So they gotta get their ish together. I think Inter, without a doubt, in my opinion, at least, are the best team in Serie A. I think it's psychological. It's something psychological since they got their ass whooped in the Champions League final, and then having Inzaghi like leave them like a dude leaving her girlfriend like a sorry babe you lost the pageant. I'm going to chase that Arab money.
If you're not,
Peace out.
he's like,
I'm
he
gonna
went
hop on
Ricky
my air
Bobby.
balloon to the loo.
Yeah. He went Ricky Bobby on
But
him. He's like, if you're not first, you're last. And he's just like,
yeah, I
boom,
think
he
there's
lost.
something going on where kind of their psyche that they gotta figure out. They gotta get over that hump. I bet that they're gonna play well against other teams in the Champions League, good teams from other teams. I don't think they will do well tomorrow because we always suck against Spanish teams. So it's going to be interesting against Atletico Madrid. But they got to start getting wins and getting some results and some points against the top level opposition in the Serie A specifically.
I think Inter gonna win in the Champions League. I think they're having despite what it hasn't been very consistent in Serie A, but they are having a solid Champions League campaign so far, and I don't expect that
Yeah,
to
but
change.
The Serie A is so contested this season that I'm not that concerned
But you said
about
it.
the Serie
You
A,
said it
or
earlier.
really, or this loss. This loss hurts, right? Or I'm disappointed because it's the derby. You don't want to give more bragging rights to the Milanistas out there, but props again to Milan for getting the dub. Um, I think that for me, it's thinking longer term, right? I want them to make the right changes. And dude, we don't need a goalkeeper. We have two great goalkeepers.
Yeah,
We
yeah, that's
need
stupid.
somebody else in defense.
They're
I
just
think
blowing smoke. You know.
we lucked out that Acerbi played well and Leao didn't have that many opportunities to break away one on one where it was Acerbi, the last
Yeah,
man. Because I thought that he was gonna start Bisek, and maybe with Bisek he could have caught to that ball instead of Pulisic. But shoulda, woulda, coulda.
yeah,
Akanji's still an amazing defender, but I think if there's anything that Inter need is definitely one additional player on defense, and now evidently another offensive player on the right, which they should have kept Valentin Carboni, who was a good option coming off the bench and an offensive threat coming from the right, but they loaned them out to Genoa. So I think those are the two positions, not the goalkeeper, that Inter, if they're gonna do something during the next market, that's where I would be focusing.
yeah. Not really a lot to fix. I think there's also a psychological factor because I feel
Yeah,
like there's a big difference when you see Inter in the Champions League, like just their body language versus when they're playing in Serie A sometimes. I feel like sometimes in Serie A, it's like they look like they're bored. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it just,
And I called
it's
it
not
out
the same
specifically for
motivation.
Dumfries, right, in other episodes, because Dumfries, you
Yeah.
could see it night and day. Dumfries is like Superman in the Champions League. Then you see him Serie A, and they pass him the ball, and he, without even looking, he just passes it back. Like, I don't give a shit.
It's like
Go
he
for it.
does, it's like that when you see the NBA games and you watch the regular season
Yeah, the
versus
regular
the
season.
playoffs.
Like, who
It's
gives a
like
shit? Like, I
nobody,
watch
like,
highlights and just fast forward to the last like
yeah.
5 minutes,
Bro, the
because
only
that's when
the
they
only
actually
guys you see
play.
playing hard are the guys who care about stats. You know what I mean? But if somebody's
The
not
ones that
going for
are
like,
not getting paid as much, that are trying to
yeah,
make a name for themselves.
mhm,
Yeah,
sometimes. But yeah, Serie A, I mean, every game is important, but I feel like Inter, from a roster perspective, right, and from a player quality perspective, they should be so much superior than most other teams, right? Like
yeah, yeah. No,
only
no, you said it
Napoli,
right. Like,
you
they
know.
should have put that game to bed during the first half.
Yeah,
It's psychological. I think it's psychological more than anything. I think hands down they're the best team in Serie A, the deepest team. It's psychological, and Kiwu's got to step up because that's on the manager. He's got to get his Phil Jackson on, right?
yeah,
Fucking start getting them to buy in triangle, right? Offense.
yeah. Hey
He's got to do
guys,
something.
people watching, we do a lot of NBA references because we are in the United States. We do
Yeah,
watch a lot of other American sports, basketball mostly, also a little bit of baseball, some of the NFL, right? Like, so we will from time to time come up with these very type of American references because we do watch a lot of NBA. So sometimes that's the bridge we make automatically. Let's talk about this
but if
next
still,
game.
if
Speaking
we
of,
say soccer instead of football, you can criticize us in the comment section.
yeah, that's fine. Even though the original game is association football sock. as soccer comes from
Dude.
England. But still, nobody calls it that in England right now. So, anyway, in Italian, we call it calcio. So, there's no doubts there
Mm,
about what we're talking about, right? But when I say football, I'm always talking about this football that we're talking about,
mm.
not the NFL. I call that
We call it
American
traditional
football,
football, not American football.
right? Or handbag or rugby for pussies. Either one of those is fine, whatever you want to call it. Uh,
I wouldn't say that, but
that's gonna get me some hate for sure.
yeah.
Uh, I don't care. Anyways, let's
Welcome,
talk
this
about the
get
next
Tito some
game.
hates in the.
Yeah, I mean, if you love American football, you're probably not watching this, so I don't really care. Anyways,
Oh, come on, bro.
next match.
Next match was an ass whooping.
Yes, it was. Let me ask you a
Como
question.
versus Torino.
Why do you think Baroni is still employed? Does he have something on the chairman? I think he's got incriminating information about the chairman, you know?
I mean, they've had a couple of matches where they've played well.
Well, they drew
Obviously,
against
not
Juve.
this one.
They drew against Juve, and management was like, done. You did your job. That's all we needed. Because he got his ass kicked like going.
Yeah, but I think there's other things that go into play. It's like if you're I don't know if your staff is good, you know the type of relationship that your manager has with the player. Like, does it go beyond us just not getting results? Right? Do the players like him? Or do they have issues with him? Are they buying into whatever he's selling? I think there's a lot more that goes into it. That's why I think there's definitely more than what was going on behind the scenes, especially with Tudor,
Yeah.
right? I don't know with Vieira, right, with some of the other managers, but I think there's a lot that probably goes into play, and maybe either he has something that he's holding as leverage, to your point,
Yeah.
or or he gets along with the players, right? It's just they're giving him some time to figure it out, and still are hopeful that he can figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, that said, again, we talked about how tight the title race is, or the league in general is right now. Torino is only 3 points away from ninth place, right? Like that said, they're in 12th in the 12th spot, which is below mid table. They should be higher than that, right? Based on their roster.
Yeah, I
But
was super hopeful for them to begin the season. I think I had him like around seventh or eighth
right,
spot, something like that.
yeah. And honestly, they still could end up there, like if they turn their season around, because you know the teams above them right now are Sassuolo, Udinese, and Cremonese. You know those teams are not gonna stay up there. You know, if as the season progresses, I'm expecting Atalanta, Torino. I don't know about Fiorentina. Fiorentina's probably already washed, but at least Atalanta and Torino should get to the ninth and 10th spots, if you ask me. Like that's what I would predict. If that doesn't happen, Baroni's out the door for sure.
Let's see. Tough matchup against the Italian side. Como.
Como. What the hell, dude? The Spanish league playing in Italy.
That's pretty much right. It's a Spanish team playing in Serie A.
Yeah. Second
A
best
great
defense
team
in the
playing
league.
very well under Cesc Fabregas. Dude, they probably could have scored seven or eight. Some dumb mistakes by Torino in the back line as well, which didn't help. But it was just a bit of a massacre.
Bro.
I don't think there were any positive takeaways for Torino on
Como.
this
See,
one.
and they play with a four-man back line, Como, in this match. Uh that's Spalletti. That's something Spalletti's trying to change you into doing as well. I know you don't like the formation discussions, but that's all that they've been talking about from
I
a
don't mind the
Juventus
formation
perspective.
discussion.
And I think Como is also one of the teams that mostly uses the four-man back line. Because again, it's a Spanish team. That's how Spanish teams play. They play with a four-man back line. Um,
Como I
but
told
they
you,
really
brother,
kill
they
them.
were my dark horse to start the season. I had them potentially even making a challenge for for a Champions League spot this season. At the very least, I have them getting a European spot. I think they're that good. I think they're a team that can make one or two signings during the summer that can also improve their team because they do have money to splash.
Yeah.
Um,
But tell me
so
what's gonna prevent Fabregas from going to a bigger team once the season is done.
he could have done it last season and he didn't do it. I think it's going to be a matter of how much power and control they give him moving forward. I think what he's doing is working. Why would you go? I think if you can get to a point where you could actually win a cup with Como, win a title with Como, I think that shows off a little bit better on your resume if the point is to then go to another big team, which a lot of the other great managers are aiming for. Maybe he wants to say, I doubt that he'll stay long term in Como, but maybe he wants to at the very least give this project a little bit more time to see what he can do. I think it's gonna align on when Nico Pass leaves, when some of these players that he's kind of helped develop decide to make that jump. I think that's when kind of Fabregas is also gonna decide. It's like, hey, we're gonna have to we're selling and getting rid of key pieces of this project that we've been working towards. So I think it's the good time for me to leave, kind of deal.
I don't know. I feel if he keeps doing such a good job, somebody is gonna come. Hey, either a bigger team, someone like Arsenal or somebody like that, or somebody with just bags
No,
of
but
money,
Arsenal
like
are
one of
doing great
these.
under Arteta. That's the thing. It's got to
Yeah,
be
that's
like a
true.
great team.
That's true. But one of these Saudi Arabian teams will
Maybe
come out
Barcelona. Let's say Barcelona continue to struggle, and
Barcelona. Yeah,
somebody gives a call to Cesc to try to bring Cesc in. I can see
yeah,
that,
because he's like
and
a
him leaving for a Barcelona for sure.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like a big team is gonna come.
But
It's gonna come
Inter wanted
knocking the
them, and
door.
he said no, right? So Serie
Right,
A,
but
I
it's
think he wouldn't
Inter.
go
It's
anywhere
not
else.
Inter is not to him. That's like a lateral move, like from the same league to the same league. It's an
Yeah,
upwards
that's what I'm
move
saying. I don't think he would
in
go
terms of the
anywhere else in
quality.
Serie A. So probably it would be more than anything. I would say Spain. If he would go to Spain, more than likely Barcelona. If he would go to the Premiership, more
Yeah.
than likely Arsenal.
Any
Because
team
I
in the
think,
Premiership because they money bags, bro. They can pay three times what Como is playing.
or he
That
goes
is
the
Spain.
Inzaghi
That's the
route
thing.
and ding 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 ding
That's what I'm
ding ding.
saying. He might just go there and
Hey, do that
Saudi
shit
Arabia.
for 2 3 years and you're loaded for life.
You're set. Exactly. You could coach like an amateur team if you want just for fun after that.
But good run.
It's
Literally,
crazy.
he's built a Spanish team. His formula is working. He's just getting
Yeah.
veterans, solid veterans, and bringing in these young, unknown Spanish talent. And he's built a great squad. He has them playing the right way. I gotta say it because we talked about it. Italian football needs like a kick in the ass and a change, like catch up with the times
Yeah.
in many aspects. So it's kind of refreshing, and we say jokingly, right? Hey, a Spanish team playing in Serie A, but it's actually good for the Serie
Yeah.
A to have somebody bringing that style of play because a lot of other teams would benefit from replicating that on their side instead of doing the same regurgitated dumb shit that they've been doing for years and years and years and expecting different results.
Right. And I saw that goal, Jacobo Ramon, and I'm like, who the fuck is Jacobo Ramon? He's like 20-year-old Spanish defender, bro. Like he
Mm.
fished out of,
Yep.
it's crazy,
Yep.
bro. Like that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
it's that type of
Adai, I've
thing. It's
told you
just
he's a
creative.
beast. Adai, quick as hell, good finisher. I think he's like, I don't know, can't remember if he's like 19 or something, but again, super young. Like
Yeah.
it's he's building. He's a good scout or has some a good scouting personnel around him because he's bringing in some very good young talent, especially from Spain,
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like I,
that are
I, I like it. I
crushing
like it.
Italian sides.
Yeah. I like how it's happening. Jesus Rodriguez is another one. A very young Spanish player, 20 years old. Like,
Yeah,
he came in and
another
again,
one that's really good.
he's building a Spanish team in Italy, and it's crazy. Like, and it's kind of
Dude,
in
and
in
if
in
and if he
different.
can continue doing that for like also for Spanish teams, will loan you right some players that may not be ready to start. Right,
Yeah,
we don't want to be bringing off the bench. We want them to get a little bit more playing time. Now managers in Spain feel confident. Hey, we could send them out to Como on their sets. He'll help them to get developing. In 1 or 2 years, they'll be ready to come back and actually produce in La Liga.
yeah, yeah.
But it kind of goes to
It's
show that, yeah, I think the Serie A is the most competitive league, but I think play wise, I think there's better football being played in La Liga.
it's the
I don't
tactics,
know
right?
if I
I
don't know if
gotta
you would
say it.
agree, but
I do. It's just the tactics. They're better tactically at this point. I think Italian il calcio got stuck, tactically. We
yeah,
haven't you haven't learned to play in this new millennium. We still stuck with the 2006, 2007 formula. We need to change. But it's gonna take some time, I think, and more managers like Carlos Cueta and
and
Cesc
Steph,
Fabregas
yeah.
doing that type of stuff. Just
Cuesta's another good one, man. I'm glad he's in Serie
yeah.
A, but we need it. We need it. Hopefully, we get a
Yeah.
little bit more of that.
Hmm.
Less foreign goalkeepers, maybe more foreign managers.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. I agree with you 100%. More foreign managers, fewer foreign players in general, right? Because
Yeah,
also our strikers need to play for these
to
big
develop.
teams so they
Yep,
could get a chance to play at a certain level. Otherwise,
like
if you keep
Pinamonti. Like
sending
you gotta
them,
give players like Pinamonti the breaks that they deserve. Right, he's getting
yeah,
breaks with Inter. That's getting him breaks with the national team. He's played
yeah,
well. He's
yeah,
scoring. He's creating opportunities.
yeah.
Yeah, especially forwards. Like we
Yeah,
need it.
and look at Orsolini at Genoa. If you had sent Orsolini to Tottenham for 45 million, he'd be sitting on the bench doing jack shit, and we would not have that player for the Italian team at all. For example, that's
Hmm.
another type of player like that. So I think we need, it'll Italia, right? They need to stop doing that crap, just sending all of their best prospects to go sit on the bench in the Premiership for money,
Yeah.
and then they spend $40 million on some random freaking Belgian kid. Like it's to me, it just doesn't make any freaking sense economically from a sporting perspective. I don't know why we do it. And honestly, we need more managers like Marotta who know how to spot a deal. And then we also need more actual coaches, like the managers on the field, like Fabregas, who are like, I'm gonna implement this style that I know is working everywhere else, and you motherfuckers are gonna see. Like even with like a smaller team, I got the second best defense in the league, setting them up
Yeah.
like this, and you guys are playing with like three center backs and two guys. Man, like what the fuck are you guys doing? I
No, but
mean,
I think what you mentioned is a part of it, right? That they play
yeah.
with a four man defensive line, and
Mm-hmm.
again, like for me, it's not the issue's not the conversations around formations. It's like, listen, the defensive three back line doesn't work for everybody. It works for Inter. That's it. And I
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
I can't say in Serie A it works for anybody else.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It works for Inter because Inter is the only team that could do it outside of Italy. For every other team, it might work in Italy, but once they go to Europe, they get their ass kicked. The only teams who have done that effectively have been your Inter, Pirlo's Juventus, right? When he was Pirlo, Vidal, Marquisio, Pogba, of
Yeah,
course he would be able to do that shit, right?
but you have
Uh
Bonucci, Chiellini, and
Chiellini,
Barzagli in the
Barzagli,
back line. You didn't have
right?
three chumps in the back line either.
Exactly. And Bonucci was like a midfielder. He was like a regista. He would just get the ball, step up to the midfield, put a bunch of passes in. Right? Like he was the first, like the quarterback of the team, basically. Uh, but if you don't have that, and then the other team that I know famously did this was Barcelona back in the day, right? When they used to switch between like a three-man back line and a four-man back line, depending on what they were doing or like the game they were playing. But apart from those three teams, everybody else should stick to four. Like I don't know what the hell they're trying to do, because
Yeah.
they don't have the players.
Is Roma playing with a back four or a back three?
I think they switch depending, but Gasparini does both formations. Last game he played with three in defense, but
And
he does
Conte
three
switched,
four
right? He
three.
started with a back three and now he switched
Yeah,
to a back four.
Conte switches. Yeah, he does switch, but he does the three sometimes, the four. I think that depends on who he's got available because it's like you said, you need to have a certain set of players to be able to
Yeah,
play the three effectively. If you
yeah,
have what Juventus has in the defense, you can't do it. You know, you gotta have, you know, players that are adapt or adept at playing this formation. Things
yeah. You
like
gotta have a Di Marco and a Dumfries, players like that.
and who's got that, bro? Like those are special players. Those are
Yeah,
not the type of players that you could just find lying around. You know? So, anyways, I think that was the last match, right? No, wait, we got one more. The 2-2
you got
draw.
Sassuolo Pisa
Yeah, that was a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Uh, yeah, I think you called them out earlier, right? As teams that would probably be battling for relegation. I would say Pisa. I would
Yeah,
say a little bit more than Sassuolo. Sassuolo have been playing good, even though they drew against Pisa. But I think this is kind of a right. These types of games are kind of rivalry coming from last season, right? Two of the teams that just came up and got promoted to Serie A, right? So they probably have their own kind of rivalry.
yeah,
So it seemed to be a pretty contested match. A little bit surprised by the 2-2 draw. I would have probably said that Sassuolo was going to get the victory, especially with the last couple of results that they've had. The first goal for Sassuolo, blast from the past. Right, we have Matic that scored an amazing volley, sideways
damn,
volley,
yeah,
which was pretty good. Uh, but some of the typical players that you can count on for Sassuolo kind of didn't show up for this one, or didn't play as good as they played for in their previous matches. So a
yeah.
bit surprising, right? At least for me, the fact that they weren't able to get the victory here, right? Because it wasn't like Berardi was out, like none of their key players was out. Lariante didn't play,
Yeah.
right? Which is big for Sassuolo
No, he
on
played.
that
He
side of
came
the
in,
pitch.
but he
But
came in on the 60th minute. Like he came in like in the second half. So I
okay,
mean,
so
he
maybe
did
he's
he did
coming
get some
coming
minutes,
back
but
from an injury, maybe.
he just didn't start. But he
Yeah, he's
did
got to
play
be
in the game.
coming
But
back from an injury or something
the
because
thing,
Lariante is a pretty great, good player.
yeah, the thing about Pisa is they've been fighters like the entire season. They have a draw with Milan. If you look at their record right now, they have the same amount of defeats that Inter has. The problem that Pisa have had is they've had 7 draws, and that's where
Mm.
they've been so close to winning so many times, and they always get caught up. And this game was another example of that. They were winning until the 95th minute, so like in the last minute of added time was when Torsbet actually got that goal. And it's crazy because if Pisa had been a little bit luckier in half of those games, they would probably be looking at like an upper mid table like position right now. And with the current results, Sassuolo's got 7 points on them, which is,
But it's good because you're
does
saying right there, all they need to do is they essentially just need to change their draws and
yeah.
they're good to go.
Yeah. They're messing up their draws. They need clean
Hey,
draws.
but that means right that they're battling it out with almost everybody in the
Yeah,
Serie A, which is motivating. Right,
yeah,
and not an easy matchup. I know it's Sassuolo, another team that was just promoted, but
yeah,
they've been playing very well as of late. So I would say it's a good result for Pisa, even though right they need to change them draws.
yeah,
Um, still a good result. I think Cremonese, Pisa, and Sassuolo have been pleasantly surprising to start the
yes,
season,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is making the league even more competitive. And then you have the freaking outliers, the Fiorentinas of the world, which I have no idea
yeah.
what the hell's going on over there.
I think Fiorentina's gonna recover and get out of the relegation zone. I think so. I think that teams that are ultimately gonna get relegated are gonna be Hellas, Verona, because there's
Hell
nobody more
ass.
Verona than Hellas, Verona, and then it's probably gonna be Lecce and Cagliari. That's gonna be my relegation picks. You heard it here first. We kick balls. Serie addicts.
It's a bit soon for me. We'll at some point call it out, but I think to
Right.
me it's a little bit early. I don't think Fiorentina is gonna end up going down to Serie B. I think they'll figure it
Yeah.
out. They'll get some results. It's a long season, and I know it's match day 12, but we still got a lot of football left to be played.
Hmm.
So I don't think Fiorentina will be there at the end of the day, but who knows? It's so competitive this season that I don't think you can afford they can't afford to keep falling asleep behind the wheel for much longer.
That's true. But I want to lock in my picks. I said it now. What it is? It's 11:25, like the November 25th. I'm gonna say it. Cagliari, Lecce, and Verona are going down. Sorry, guys. All right, so
I don't know.
it's Tuesday. Let's see
Let's
what
see.
type of
You want to talk about
Champions
the
League
two
action
Champions
we
League
had.
matches?
Super. Let's see who played today.
Napoli and Juventus.
Napoli and Juve. All right.
And
Uh,
I want to talk about the Juve match first. Surprising result, right? Because I was not expecting the Norwegian team to score twice on Juve.
yeah,
So a little bit more of a game that I was expecting. At least you got the win. But what were your thoughts? I don't know if you were able to see the match or
yeah.
see the highlights.
I watched the whole game. I watched the whole game. Honestly, Juve were in control during large portions of the match. There were maybe, some stretches uh, at the end of the first and beginning of the second half where, Bodo got on the attack a little bit. Um, of course, they scored first. But that was against the run of play too. I think Juve was actually dominating up until that point. It was a tough match to play because it's like really super cold up there. Everybody's freezing. And then it was very interesting that Spalletti did not play Vlahovic. He started with Adzic and Openda up top
Well, he
with
made he made
Conceição.
five changes right from the previous match
Yeah.
in the Serie
So
A.
Turan was on the bench. Vlahovic was on the bench, which was interesting. And he started with Kalulu, Kenny, and Coke Miners and that center three backline. Like, again, see, this is like a very small Norwegian team playing with a four-man backline, giving the Italian giants Juventus trouble, and you were playing with a three-man backline. And it's like, why do we play a smaller team with three central defenders? Like, this is the type of thing that I don't understand. Like, we could play them straight up 4-3-3, but we don't do that. I don't think Spalletti feels he has a good enough tool. You know what I mean? Because if you want to play a four-man back line, these two guys, like the two guys in the middle, these guys, they have to be
Oh
solid,
yeah, I mean
like
you're just missing
really
Bremer,
solid,
brother.
you know? And yeah, we're missing Bremer. If we had Bremer and we could
You're
play
essentially
Bremer
missing
and
your best
Kalulu,
player right now.
yeah. If we have Bremer and Kalulu, we play them both like that, right? And then you can play Cambias on the right, Kostic on the left, and then you could play three in the midfield and three up front and be perfect. And I think that's what Spalletti is working towards. But right now, like you said, we're missing Bremer. So it doesn't work without him, honestly. And we really don't have anywhere to put coke miners. Like, because he's kind of proven that he can't run with our midfield, he's too slow. So in that three-man back line, they're putting him on the left side, and he's basically like a playmaker that sits back. It's like weird. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Uh, he's not terrible, but he's not a defender. So like we're playing with three center backs, and one of them isn't a center back. So why are why the fuck are we doing that? It makes no sense. Honestly,
Hey, but
until
listen,
Spalletti,
positives, right? You had the two players with the worst hairdos in the Serie A get on the score sheet finally for Juve,
yeah.
Openda and David,
Well,
out there uh, with
but
their
but baby got
terrible
baby got
hairstyle.
braids now. David got braids now.
Oh
He
yeah,
looks better.
they're no longer looking like Prince Hakeem and Sammy from
No,
coming to him.
Openda still is. Openda still is. But David got knotted up. He got what do you call
No,
those?
see, right?
Corn. He got
He got the
cornrows.
braids. He finally got on the score sheet.
Yeah, see, exactly.
But
Like
dude,
you gotta
right?
get better haircut.
Crazy that they almost got a draw from this matchup.
Yeah.
Right? You would have expected an easy win. It went on to an extra time
Yeah.
goal
Not easy.
from
I mean,
David.
it's a Norwegian team full of Norwegians. You know how Italians do against Norwegians? Not great, you know?
For me, at the very least, one thing that I liked is I saw Yildiz play a little bit better than he has in the past couple of games. I kind of saw some flashes of the Yildiz from the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
He created a ton of opportunities.
And
Uh,
he came off the
right,
bench too.
had a
He
great
didn't start.
assist for Openda for a goal that was
Yeah.
that ruled out, but very unselfish play from
Yeah.
Yildiz for that one.
Yeah.
I think he had
But
a great game.
did you see McKennie's goal? That
Yep,
was
the header.
that was hang
Yeah,
time. You see the hang time?
he leaped in the air like an NBA player, like an
Exactly.
American NBA player,
He was up
and
there.
headed
He
that
was up
sucker
there.
into the back post.
He was up there. He got up there. I was happy when I saw that because like he again, like this is the Italian press. They're so prejudiced against some players. They always talk shit about McKennie. McKennie's been the most consistent, the most reliable player for Juventus this season. I'm not even afraid to be wrong on this because I know 100% you cannot tell me a single player that has played for Juventus this year that has played as consistently as Weston again. Nobody. The only guy who has played more minutes is Kalulu, and Kalulu hasn't always been at his best. So
Yeah,
I'm just
but
gonna say that.
consistency being the key word, I would say McKennie, and he's just not only reliable, but he's just so versatile and can
Yep.
play so many different positions and fill so many holes when players get injured that
Yep.
listen, the media can talk all the shit they want, but people that know football know how valuable a player like that
Yeah.
is within a team.
Hmm.
Somebody that, regardless of what goes down where he's needed, he's gonna step up and give it his all. And plus, he could
Exactly.
climb up to a 10 foot rim and head the ball down to the second post to get you goals as well every now and then. So,
Yeah.
and I
Exactly.
think he had a couple of other opportunities, but I was expecting kind of a more comfortable win for Juve. On
Yeah,
this
me too.
one, I think good again to see Openda to and David, right, Prince Hakeem and Semi getting
Yeah.
on the score sheet.
That's gonna give him
Uh,
confidence, at least, you know?
Hopefully, right,
Hopefully.
it gives them some confidence and they start getting some more goals for Juve. Hopefully, the
Yeah.
same for Yildiz. I want him to go back to being the player when the season started. Just he would look kind of unstoppable at times.
Man.
And I want to see
What?
Segrova, bro. I want to see
Yeah, me
Segrova
too.
on the pitch.
He played
Otherwise,
like
give it
13
to
minutes
us because
today.
we need somebody on the right. You give Inter Segrova, and I tell you, we're winning the Champions League, bro.
It's
You
over.
give us
It's over.
Segrova, and we're winning the Champions League.
He's nasty. He's nasty. He played like 12 minutes this match, and he always looks dangerous, man. Something about him. Like he's just I think
Listen,
it's
you
the
want
pants.
Fratesi, dude? We'll
Because he
make
looks
it
like Allen
easy. We'll
Iverson.
give you Fratesi. You could give us Segrova, and we call it a day. Straight up,
You
Fratesi
know?
for Segrova, and we're
No,
good.
I don't know. That might not be a terrible move, but we can't make you that strong though. That's the problem. Like,
Dude,
Negrova
if you
is a
do
weapon.
that,
Negrova is dangerous.
having Dumfries, and whenever Dumfries like doesn't show up, you have Zegrova to bring in.
No,
Oh
bro.
my god, that
No,
would
bro.
be awesome.
Yeah, 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 yeah. See, we got
What
to use
about
him better.
Napoli?
Is what I'm saying.
What did Napoli do in the
Napoli
Champions
had a
League? Didn't
comfortable
see their
one against.
result.
They had a comfortable one against Kurabag. Big guy Scott McTominay, last season's MVP,
Hmm.
came up big for Napoli again in
Again,
the 65th. The other goal was an own goal by Jankovic from Kurabag. But fairly easy result for Napoli.
It
Honestly,
looked like a
they
pretty contested game, right? 51 versus 49 possession in favor of Kurabag, actually. 12 shots versus
yeah,
9, 4 versus 3 on target. It looked like a, at least on
it
paper,
wasn't like
obviously because I
yeah,
didn't
no, no.
watch the match, like a pretty
Yeah,
contested match, like it wasn't a cakewalk for them.
I watched most of it. It wasn't I don't know like the stats don't really if you're looking at the stats that said that Kurabag had more possession, like I don't know
Yeah,
where that is, but I thought Napoli controlled this kind of easy, one more shots on goal, like but yeah, and it's Napoli's been like a little bit up and down, so sometimes they give up a lot more to teams that they shouldn't really give up chances to. Um, but again, like as far as like their campaign, this this win puts them at least out of the elimination zone in the Champions League. Same goes for Juve. Now it's a matter of like winning the rest of the game that they have remaining to see if they can stay there. It's gonna be 3 matches left for each one of those teams. Um, but they still got a bunch of teams that can overtake them. So it's gonna be tricky for you and Napoli to actually make it, but at least this win sets them in the right direction. Is all I can say at this point.
let's see. I wasn't expecting for Napoli even to like make it to the play-in for the round of 16, so maybe they got a shot. I would have given you more of a shot. Um,
Yeah.
but it also depends on the matches that they have left, right? Inter have some pretty big matches coming up, right? I think we started off and played against a couple of smaller market teams.
Yeah.
Now we're going against the big dogs. I don't feel confident at all about the match tomorrow, just because we typically don't do well against Spanish teams that are not Barcelona. It's just Barcelona. Let's be honest; they always have a terrible deep defensive back line and a terrible defensive strategy.
Yeah.
I think they make it easy on teams with the way that they play. They always
Yeah. Speaking of
focus, and
that,
it's been
Araujo got sent off today. Like by speaking of
yeah,
Barcelona lost, and
yeah.
it's their back line just messing
With
it
which
up. And
not, it wasn't surprising to me because I think Maresca has Chelsea playing awesome football.
pretty good. Yeah.
Estevao and a couple of their pickups as well have really made an impact. But Barcelona do what they're not. First of all, their defensive back line. Neto went past Cubarsi today in one play that it was like Cubarsi looked like a freaking cone in the field, like
Yeah.
so easy for Neto to just literally go past him and have a one-on-one chance against the keeper. So it's Araujo is not solid. So it's just that defensive back line that they have, the way that they push up and play the offside trap. That shit's gonna bite you in the ass
Yeah.
eventually. There's people like you have forwards like Harry Kane and other forwards that know how to break that line easily, right? They just stay in an offside position, and what the teams do, and they just pass it to somebody on either side. And when they pass it back, Harry Kane is immediately in an onside position. In an onside position, so it's easy for people to get around it. Everybody's scoring a ton of goals on them. I don't mind it. Um, but we don't do well against Spanish teams, especially Real Madrid. And Atletico Madrid is always a very tough matchup for us. So I'm not expecting a whole lot from tomorrow. Hopefully, they do get their ish together and we're able to get all 3 points, or at the very least, get 1 point in the draw. But it's going to be an interesting match tomorrow.
Yeah. And Atalanta are playing Eintracht Frankfurt, which they're playing away, which should be
Which usually
another
you would
tough challenge,
give the bump to Atalanta, but the way they've been playing in Serie A lately, who knows, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, but Frankfurt is one of the teams that hasn't really won a lot. So, I mean, Atalanta has a chance to kind of solidify their position. If they win tomorrow, they could
Yeah,
put
they're not in a bad spot.
themselves, they could get into a good spot actually with 10 points. They would be in the top eight if they actually get a win,
Yeah.
if nothing else
Well, there's
changes.
some teams in
So,
the top eight that have a match left still as well, right? That have to play,
yeah,
but yeah, they
yeah,
could
yeah,
put themselves potentially in a position where they could qualify directly to the round of 16, which would be awesome. I doubt it that it's gonna happen. Just
I
the
think they're
way
gonna
that
win
they've been
tomorrow.
playing.
Honestly, I think they're gonna win. I think Paladino's gonna get.
I wouldn't be surprised if they win tomorrow, right? Just based on the fact that Frankfurt hasn't been playing their best football either, right?
Right.
Especially in the Champions League. So
Yeah.
hopefully they do get the win. We need more Italian teams representing in the Champions League, especially I
Yeah.
want freaking Juve and Napoli to continue to have to worry about European football as well,
Yeah. It
because I
doesn't
know
help Inter if we get eliminated.
they're gonna be battling right for the top spots in Serie A. So
Yeah.
we already have Milan, who don't have any European football. I don't want any more of the top dogs in the Serie A to not have a easier schedule than Inter
Yeah.
moving
Exactly. They're
forward.
gonna get the rest breaks, and Inter look like they're definitely gonna qualify. You know.
Oh, let's see. We got some tough matchups. Again, I think we need just two. If we get two wins, we'll qualify directly to the round of
Yeah.
16s.
But you guys are already in.
But let's see. I would expect Inter to go through, but dude, the psyche. I want to see something change with Inter mentally. Especially, it's gonna be interesting tomorrow because again, we need to start getting some wins against some legit world class teams, which I think Atletico Madrid are a world class team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if we can get the result tomorrow, especially after that terrible defeat against Milan, even though we completely dominated them.
Yeah. Well, the tomorrow's match day in the Champions League is the last match day where teams are not going to be mathematically eliminated. So after tomorrow's match day, teams that have more than a 6 point difference between the 24th position and them are automatically out. So it's going to get more tense after that. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Hoping that Napoli, like you said, Napoli and Atalanta do well. Sorry, not Napoli, Atalanta and Inter do well, because we want the Italian teams in the Champions League for sure.
Yeah, listen, when you talk about Serie A, it's different, right? But when we're looking at Champions League, right? If your club's no longer in there, right? If you're not rooting for the club, you're rooting for the flag. That's how, at least in my side, it's always been, right? If Inter get eliminated and there's another
Yeah,
Italian team still battling for the Champions League, I'm always going to root for the Italian team. It's good
same.
for Italian football. It also secures more spots for us in the Champions League moving forward.
Yeah,
Right,
and
so it's
also it's the
important for us to
culture.
have more teams qualify.
That's what it is. It's the culture. It's always been like that's how you're supposed to do your race right in football, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a cool deal. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover on today's call? On today's
No, not really.
episode?
Just today's call. Yeah. We let's just look
Yeah, just
real quick.
getting off another call.
Yeah. Let's just take a quick look in the Italian league at some of the matches that are gonna be happening this weekend. Just kind of preview the date.
All right,
It's gonna be
let's
match
do
day
that real quick.
13.
So, looking at next match day, Milan
I think
Lazio would be interesting.
yeah,
Right, Lazio coming off a
Atalanta
win.
Fiorentina is also gonna be a good, like an interesting match.
But I think the matchup of this match day is going to be
Roma
Roma
Napoli.
Napoli.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
that's going
gonna
to be the
be a
one, right? Juve should
big
get
game.
the win versus Cagliari. Inter should get the win versus Pisa.
Although
Um,
it might be a
other than
draw.
that, right? Let's see. I think again Milan Lazio. Um, and the other two that I'm keeping an eye on is Bologna, just to see if they can continue their form against Cremonese, and then Como
Yeah,
after that ass whooping that they just gave Torino, to see how they do against Sassuolo, who
yeah,
just are coming off a draw against Pisa, but they've been scoring, right, and having some good results prior to
yeah,
that. So that's
yeah,
another one that I may keep an eye on, but definitely the main event for next match day is Roma Napoli. Is going to be
yeah.
interesting to see how that one plays out.
Clash. That's at the top of the table, and winner takes top spot. It's gonna be great. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm gonna let Mike go take it out as usual.
Appreciate it, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Like and subscribe. We're going to be here for every match day, giving you our opinion, giving you the recaps, giving you previews of the following match day. Also talking about the Serie, not only the Serie A, but the Italy national team for the last couple of playoff games that we have coming up here. I say couple, hopefully it's a couple, and
Yep.
2 dubs for Italy, so they qualified to the next World Cup. But let us know your thoughts. If there's anything that you want us to touch on, let us know. But we appreciate you guys spending some time with us. Marco Romano, Tito Yang, Serie Addicts, another episode done. Peace.
Peace.